What lies ahead? There is a destiny, so never fear. This crisis will resolve itself in bliss. What choice you have to make is only this: decide what you will feel while you are here. Identities are merging all in one. Bad news if you're self-identified. Forget about resistance to this tide. Conclusion is foregone. The deal is done. Ah, bliss! But can my body come along? Or must I die before I unify? Depends on what you mean when you say I. You can't survive this time by being strong. You'll die if you attempt to keep control or live forever as an oversoul. How can I tell? Avoid unneeded conflict. Walk away. It's not just your own karma that you spare, for you and your arch foe are bound to share the consequence of all you do and say. For truth and justice willingly give all. Stand firm against coercion and contempt. Defeating tyranny, you thus preempt great future harm. The price you pay is small. But wait a minute, how can I discern mere rage from righteous cause and just concern? Consult your feelings. If you want to win and spill opposing blood, count that a sin. But if you doubly grieve for those you've harmed in service to justice, then you're doubly charmed. The transformative potential in overcoming fear of death. Foretold in ancient prophecies of Thoth, we face a time when all we know must cease. There's nothing like confronting death for growth and learning to sustain one's heart in peace. To know that death is not a final end casts human tragedy in different light. The urgency disperses. We transcend our need to rescue and our need to fight. Then even murder, if the world's a stage, is but a crime within the soul's romance. Its evil writ large on a novel's page, enacted by two dancers in one dance. So play your part as you enjoy the show, and be forewarned, we'll all be letting go. No coincidences. Invite the serendipitous to dinner. Stop paddling, drift across the windswept lake. If you are troubled by the need to make a choice, allow events to choose the winner. Give chance a chance to guide the arrow's flight. Walk by an unfamiliar route today, with unplanned detours all along the way. Have faith your feet are guided toward the light. Your will is precious, all you really own. So close to you, you cannot abdicate responsibility for what you choose. But those who wield it willfully are prone to pride. The key is to cooperate. Your selfish self is all you have to lose. Kaixin is the Chinese word for happiness and also for open heart. Come to each day with open heart and mind. Invite events that challenge you to grow. What might these be? Impossible to know. Don't try to guess what marvels you may find. Regard the universe as though for you alone its special lessons were designed. Permit your precious ores to be refined. Have faith that what you don't yet know is true. Appear before each person that you meet as to your special guru, wise and kind, but also mischievous, with easy laugh. It's your rigidities he must defeat. And what you can't let go, others will find someday in o'ergrown fields, your epitaph. Carry your truth, carry it lightly. Come, bring your truth to our meeting, as I shall bring my own, with curiosity and eagerness to learn, mutually willing to allow parts of us to die. We cannot survive this time without change. We only change by one another's prompt. As individuals, we're helpless, swamped by world events. Networks extend our range. In our surrender we will find, we trust, our place in a reality far larger. though it cannot be quick or smooth or clean. We know that we are acting as we must, preparing for our imminent departure. We spurn convention that we might be seen. Common dreams. Our common dreams create each present now. Imagination calls it from the dark. Potentiality, exposed and stark, reveals a hidden facet of the Tao. We dream the future into solid form. How much of this is conscious? We may learn the art of guided dreaming, thus we earn the power of the dead, while yet we're warm. May women's wisdom rise to take the lead. May truth erupt in the collective mind. May conflicts melt and new connections bind diversity within a common creed. With open hearts we focus our intent. What privilege to be part of this event. Elusive freedom. With discipline, you've stayed temptation's pull. You've worked to do the right and noble thing. You realize one day your life's half full. Uneasiness, but too remote to sting. Good karma, you had reason to expect, would bring reward some day for all your pains. But lately you're beginning to suspect there is no guarantee that justice reigns. Refusing others' rules, shunning convention, you freed yourself only to rebuild walls. Self-discipline had not been your intention. Instinctual being from the distance calls. Outside your window float the singing birds. When freedom comes at last, you have no words. Wisdom from within. Regard the world as sacred. Find the Tao in each encounter. Read life as a book whose language is events of every now, complete with illustrations if you look, and harmonies divine to grace your ear. The world's alive with meaning you may glean, attending with your brain's right hemisphere to layers that your eyes might not have seen. The cult of logic is a modern creed by which our intuition is suppressed, and we succumb to madness of the crowd. The only guru you will ever need, the wise internal guide with which you're blessed, lives always in your gut and cries out loud. Striving. Let go of what makes human life worthwhile. The battles, contests, striving for the good, not only doing what they say you should, but even your own choice to shun what's vile and cleave to what you know is just and right. The quest for comfort and the charitable urge, eschew resistance and permit the purge of pleasure, pain, cognition, dark and light. Or choose to linger in the opera stage, savor the drama, relish this your role, explore, discover, open hidden doors. The earthly life you chose is not a cage. You'll play your part, but still can know the whole. No hurry, all eternity is yours. The path of peace. Forswear coercion, force in all its guises. Trust destiny to know what path to take. She has, in all events, the greater stake. Anticipate fortuitous surprises. Yourself included, set your nature free, obey the instincts you don't understand. Be ready to abandon what was planned. Embrace the future you cannot foresee. A time will come, love will eclipse your will. You'll sense that you have made a choiceless choice. Your mind and body speak with one clear voice, while heart within is undisturbed and still. The path of peace may rarely be obscure, but you can tell when your intent is pure. Someday when I get some slack, I'll rethink everything. There were some hints. You've had your doubts, of course, but so much of your life seemed to make sense, and, truth be told, the conventional lens through which you viewed the world had all the force of experts you had reason to respect, authorities whose competence you trust. If now the core collapses and you must rethink all that, what then can you expect? A courage such as you have never known assembles from shards of a crumbling world. With solid ground so far beyond your reach, you come to trust a will that's not your own, the fathomless tsunami that has hurled you on this alien yet familiar beach. The paradox of free will. Let's honor those whose dreams foretell our fate, but do not believe that fate is cast in stone. Our freedom's proof the future can't be known. We always have the power to create. We're confident in liberty to act, but chronically we underestimate the force of thought when once we concentrate, although its consequence is less exact. Take omens as a promise or a warning. Regard your freedom as a sacred gift. Collect your will and focus your intent. New possibilities appear each morning, as prophecies of yesterday can shift, transforming change where thoughts are resonant. Beyond words. The words I write, I know that words have been the root of man's unique original sin. Abstraction makes us clever to survive, but insulates us from what is alive. A glimpse into reality's silent core, that's what the word ineffable is for, reminding us to take a language fast and celebrate our intuition's vast ability to comprehend the whole. If only we can abdicate the goal of separate understanding for each part, embracing a full ripeness in the heart. But no, I will not numb my brain for this, not even if the prize is cosmic bliss. I think too much. Obsessive passions rise unbidden in my heart, distract me from the work I try to do, and yet I don't succumb or cry. I struggle, though I know I cannot win. My gratitude for life has lost its way. I only seek escape from what I feel. It's thus I've disconnected from the real. I sense there'll be a price to pay. How did I come to be so out of touch? The subtle intuitions I've ignored and overridden with my keen left brain have spoken louder, begged and then implored, continually cranking up the gain, and all to let me know I think too much. Prayer. In this time of unraveling and reweaving the human fabric, may all passions of my heart draw me into collective truth, guide my acts in service to the diversity and unity of life, connect me with bonds of love, learning, and cooperation, and, to the extent it does not distract me from my calling, grant me a vision of the full tapestry in its effulgent glory. Let fear be fear. Let fear be fear, a storm of fight or flight. Don't let the fear attach to circumstance. These hormones veil your spirit in a trance, inhibiting both thought and second sight. Your fear importune to you that it's about some future dread event you must avoid. Suppose it came, but left you overjoyed. It's your response that matters, not the outcome. Contagious fear can poison the collective mind and cleave it from the solid ground of sense. The mob's destruction knows no bound. Community and love are the corrective. But every devastation serves a need. The past's demise reveals the future's seed. The marriage of focus and fervency. You must create your dream by force of will. Imagine what you most desire. Persist. Volition becomes real when you enlist the concentration that you forged in stillness and in transcendental peace. Those years of meditation served you well, cultured detachment from a mental hell. The fears and demons you learned to release, when gaudy, loud distractions tug your senses, Your mind is trained with disciplined defenses. The power of thought is greatly amplified when you have noble allies at your side. Sustained, coherent thought will realize collective vision from discordant eyes. Become the witness. The Buddhists who believe that life is suffering have remedies for quieting the mind. But some who try their meditation find it's not just pain and sadness they are buffering. They manage inner peace, but pay a price in lost exuberance, elan, and joy. Their mental anesthetic is a ploy, compressing all strong feelings into nice. The mystic's counsel, be your own observer. Witness thoughts and feelings, be aware of narrative, ephemeral as foam. It's well to cultivate your native fervor, so long as judgment rules, detached and fair. The witness, you may find, is your true home. Surrender to an unsensed Tao. You're navigating from a partial chart, with domineering reason at the helm. The forces you enlist in matter's realm are bumptious, overblown, and twice too smart. You've based your choices on a calculation rooted in the physical domain. By putting all your faith in your left brain, you've missed the breath infused in God's creation. Explore some other places in your mind. In abrogating ego, you may find a vast and synergetic power avails, an effortless recourse that never fails. Obtain your heart's desire not by force, but resonating gently with life's source. Walk away. I need your help, my sister and my brother. You did not choose to rape the earth, our mother, to have dominion over life on earth, to slash and burn the source that gave us birth. But now the onus falls on you and me, forsaking comfort and familiarity, to walk away from the cold, hard machine, to fashion something we have never seen. Reaching out, nurturing bonds, preparing local networks based on mutual caring. The living earth is bounteous if we support and feed biodiversity. No state or company condones this plan. We must begin at once, while we still can. Science and spirit. I relish knowing I have been deceived, the opportunity to pick up new discordant knowledge, framing what is true and overturning paradigms that I've believed. A state of wonder, poised on narrow blade, is pregnant with new possibilities, the chance to see new forest from old trees, while shedding past misjudgments I have made. Two kindred spirits are the scientist and mystic, both embracing, I don't know. The spirit of inquiry serves for both, to press the mystery that I exist. It's not profane to dissect the rainbow. It cultivates both mind and spirit's growth. Trust is all. Trust the all. Entrust your fate to generous, unseen hands. Expect the world to take good care of you. Embrace uncertainty, and all that's new. Embark with confidence for unknown lands. Whatever comes your way, adopt a frame that this event was crafted just for me, a lesson or an opportunity for growth or just an interesting game. Consistent practice is transformative, especially when you're prone to feel adrift. Regard your situation as a gift. This constitutes a better way to live. You're part of a divinely scripted dance, a game in which there's nothing left to chance. Wonder must prevail. Adventure waits for us beyond the veil. Adventure or demise, we can't be sure. What portion of our person may endure once brain and heart and limbs and sinews fail? Anticipating agony or bliss, our native dread finds every excuse. Religious texts, alas, are little use. to offer us the specter of abyss. We relish mystery, we have no choice. Our plight is not a reason for despair or hope. No, wonder must prevail. If we but listen for its distant voice, then each day is a day we can prepare for life beyond the veil. To Monica Gagliano. Spring green comes suddenly to forest glade, the naked trees bedecked in just 1 week. We have no ken what language they may speak to synchronize their shift from sun to shade. Our ancestors knew trees as fellow souls. They had no need of Lorax to translate. We technophiles have lost our native state of oneness with the plants that fill our bowls. The violence of man is but a sign. We've severed our inherited lifeline. We've lost the instinct, what to do and how to live intuitively in the now. We're unsustainable. This cannot last. The greening of our lives will happen fast. Schoolhouse Lane. What just occurred? Your fleeting rendezvous with this substantial bumper laid you flat along the shoulder, but I notice that there is no pain. And yes, you feel that you are lucid just as far as you can tell. Now is my chance. I might find out what I have always wondered, what it's like to die. It sure seems easy. You don't believe in hell. What waits for you upon the other side? A whispered invitation calls to me. Intuitive connection, oneness, bliss. No, you have life remaining in this ride, replete with jobs to do and worlds to see. There's time to find out what comes after this. New start. Next thing I know, I'm looking at the sky, my bicycle in pieces far away, flesh torn, the blood is streaming from my thigh. Atypically, my mind begins to pray. Forgotten are all thoughts of speeding truck, no pain, no anxious worry in my head, no trace of irony. I praise my luck. Now I can know what it's like to be dead. No sooner does this thought articulate, I think of miles to go before I sleep. As sure as life itself, it is my fate to climb along this path, however steep. The coming time will offer difficult new challenges, occasions to exult. Paradoxical benefits of focusing awareness on the body. Acute awareness of the senses may lead paradoxically to letting go of bodily attachment and the ego, eventually a withering away of all that you experience as self. No need to think about this as you start to witness your sensations. Step apart from thoughts and stash your feelings on a shelf for future reference, just in case you want to recollect what you were feeling when you chose to open to another realm. And once the inner battle finds détente, the boundlessness you've known, you'll know again. Your ship sets sail with no one at the helm. This is not a world I recognize. A spinning globe can balance on a pin. If balance is what you have always known, you probably feel dizzy as you own the world you know is slackening its spin. Uncomfortable, yes, but maybe change is welcome. Your familiar world required contortions to obtain what you desired, but how to manage in a place so strange? Yes, how to choose a course without a map, the rules that used to help you to predict the consequence of any choice you make. When calculation fails, you're forced to tap your intuition, though its guidance is less strict. Just trust yourself to know each step to take. Death. Our souls cannot find peace by trying harder. Our busy schedules only make us numb. We quest for immortality via barter, but dare not visualize the world to come. Death is not an end, but a transition. Transition into what? We cannot know. If we were given to see our true position, Howe'er would we find impetus to grow? The habits formed by practice can help you in guiding the development of soul, but don't imagine that the work you do depends on making progress toward a goal. Remember, as you work proceeds apace, the greatest treasures only come by grace. Experiment in iambic hexameter. What is the truth is what I've always sought to know. I was a special child, admitted to the hall of education, where the seekers one and all are groomed and channeled to defend the status quo. Now, from my learned vantage, looking back, I find I'm grateful for the thought processes learned in youth. I glimpsed that all they taught me was but half the truth. Reason has led me to a place beyond the mind. This solid and objective world is real enough, but once I start to catalog anomalies, they fill my mind, so paradox is all it sees. Bewildered, I turn inward and ask what stuff my consciousness is made of, and as I take stock of self, I'm led to deeper truths than brain can grok. Science. My sixth grade teacher said, "The more you know you don't know." She's long gone, but words she said inspire 6 decades on. My sense of wonder never ceased to grow. How often science speaks its final word. They've searched, and now they've got it right. Their paradigm established, we must fight complacent brilliant minds just to be heard. How often do we reach a paradox? Then treasure chests years later loose their locks. How quickly we forget that tortuous history, now that we clearly see what once was mystery. How rare and fine the scientific thrall, not knowing is the greatest thrill of all. Translation of Rilke Sonnet number 12 from Sonnets to Orpheus. To that which binds us I bid namaste. We each play out an interwoven role. Our acts accrue to an unconscious whole as seconds tick the fullest of the day. Our true place we are not given to know, so conscious of the limits of our vision we stretch our antennae, tap into the flow, but choose at last a practical decision. We feel the world's pure pull, the power of song, although we may resolve to sing along. Quotidian routine confounds our voice. Earth's spirit kindly overrides our choice. The farmer, conscientious, sows his seed, but nature 'tis that consummates the deed. A Taoist one-point program. This world was made for you, a friendly place. Whatever comes your way, it is your treasure. Rise to the challenge, or soak in the pleasure, an opportunity in either case. More poisonous than pain or grief is fear. Replacing fear with trust is your one task. For what you crave, don't hesitate to ask. Just don't expect the answer to be clear. You're worried, did you service in the past? But now the time is right to let it go. Let intuition guide you through the flow. Your dull routine gives way and life's a blast. You fear that if you change, you lose your mooring. But what is real is deeply reassuring. Not knowing. Discovery is every child's delight. Each stage of life is full with its own charms. I'm old. I've learned I can't evade life's harms. But still I hope to see the world aright. Surprise abounds, its burial quite shallow, but once discovered, truth is hard to swallow. The poet I admired in 8th grade was preying on his daughter in her youth. Corrupt elites have kept us from the truth. Their purpose is to make us all afraid. With every fact, each reference point that dies, I feel a reverent sense of wonder grow. The counsel of Socrates is to know nothing. Someday I hope to be so wise. The ground of being. Consider that our world may be sown through with sentience, intelligence, and thought. The dead philosophy that we've been taught has bridled us, imprisoned me and you. Behold life in its innumerable forms, the glory of an animated sky, expanding from our pension to ask why we leave behind our comfortable norms. A vibrant animation fills our sight. The universe we knew has overflowed its banks, has flooded our familiar now. If only we can breathe its rarefied light, we'll be content not seeing down the road. Stop asking why we live, but sensing how. Trust your gut. A voice within, always available, but almost always drowned by left brain thought. Inexorable logic, we've been taught, presents itself as unassailable. What's worse, to quiet thought uncovers pain. The pain was always there, veiled by distraction, eschewing comfort of the brain's abstraction, inviting subtle cultural disdain. Find patience to abide the din's subsidence. Your destiny awaits inspired choice that comes from heeding intuition's voice. Seek counsel from a quiet, deeper guidance. Resolve ahead of time, no matter what your brain is saying, you will trust your gut. This thing called Josh. This thing they call Josh, what is it to me? How did they convince me, despite appearance, against the clear evidence of my senses, that I was one of these, no different? Occluded memory? Was I born knowing that I was one being among many? That these two-legged creatures lacking fur, that they and I were cast from the same mold? Consider a community of life, that my belonging is a precondition. Self and other, parent and child, these were known to me before ever there was Josh. These hairless wonders come and go. Does that mean I must someday die? This morning I have a headache. Answer me this. If I am not this body, if cosmic consciousness is my true nature, why does nothing matter to me quite so much as this pain behind my left eye? Answer me this. If this headache is so devastating an obsession, why am I writing poetry? Resistance is collective. The still voice within has been infiltrated. You can no longer trust your intuition. Insidious campaigns have reached fruition. Your inner sanctum has been abrogated. You want to know the author of this treason. If you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? Your logic, after all, remains robust, assuming you have free will yet and reason. You're right. The world around you has gone mad. Your judgment about friends is still reliable. So seek the people who seem sane and true. They'll be mutually grateful to know you. Together, mourn the friends that you once had. A community of truth you'll find is viable. The serpent. To understand the things you can't explain, the key is in the Bible. Elohim are literally gods, just as they seem. Our planet is a realm where spirits reign. Crop circles and the pyramids of old, alike the handiwork of ghosts and jinn. Reality in your face. Let it in. Don't wait for revelations to unfold. Their powers are great, their motives sometimes good and sometimes diabolical. You'll know them by the artifacts that they create. Don't fret, live life, enjoy the show. You too will have your chance. The gateless gate opens to those who freely do as they would. Non-locality. Thoughts uninvited appear in my head, and yet I speak of them as mine. They came from my brain, which I think of just the same as though they were deliberate, instead of arising from the world, or words I've read, or telepathic message I might blame on you or MK Ultra. If I claim these thoughts as sourced by me, where am I led? One answer, an expanded sense of mind. The word I means two things. Don't be deceived. The flesh and blood which we identify tugs on us constantly and makes us blind to who we really are. You'll be relieved to know that death can't touch the expanded I. I asked, what is it like to be between incarnations? Imagine change and flow, but without time. Of course you can't imagine. Just let go of words and concepts. What you need to know is learned by telepathic pantomime. The hardest thing is caring without action. There's nothing you can do except intend, but thoughts themselves can take on forms that render them as gifts or media of transaction. Devoid of sense, you yet can feel a kind of bliss that comes from union. Love surrounds you, sense of self dissolving in the sea. No question that the world is made of mind, and everything that you might want abounds. With nothing to possess, at last you're free. Choosing sides. I think of Adam in his garden with a brain naive to logical design, his instinct serving every need just fine, and then his fall, according to the myth, that we might deem today the gift of reason, the power that sets our humankind apart, but tends sometimes to override the heart. Thus Mars or Venus reigns, each in its season. So, was it Satan damned us with his fruit? Or was it Lucifer who gave us light? Can we have both, logic and inner knowing? Can we reclaim our pure divine birthright to reap the earth's abundance without sowing, ere our cult of logic makes all things moot? Further reflections on Adam's choice. I wonder, how did Adam live before the serpent gave him wherewithal to think? Did he float on intuition? Did he sink forthwith in desperation, once the door to reason opened wide? Its blinding light washed out the star map which had been his guide. Imagine his chagrin as he applied his plodding brain. Or did he rue the night that once had been his home? It never crossed his mind to think there's anything he'd lost. A simple animal perceives no lack, but once enlightened, he can ne'er go back. And you, dear reader, if you had the chance, would you opt for understanding or for dance? We reach for our commonality. Our destiny is to return some day to join our consciousness with one world soul. We know that in that time we will be whole, but of this, is there aught that we can say? Imagination, can we stretch to feel perspective that we've never known before? If we strip present experience to its core, might we isolate the essence that's most real? I can't perform this exercise for you, but we trust that somehow you're like me, and maybe we might find therein a key, an empathy in which we slowly stew, and marinate our souls so as to inspire surrender to our common life's desire. Faith and reason. I was born into an age when physics reigned. No superstition ever tempted me. Ruled strictly by pure logic, I felt free. Religious teachers preached, I never deigned to dignify their sanctimonious tripe with reasoning or logical reply. So full of smug assurances was I limited my friends to those my type. Now, woke to quantum strangeness, I can wonder, had I been born a Christian, would I blunder into dogmas of the Bible and disdain the science that has brought this world such pain? The gods that happen to prevail today may not be him to whom I've learned to pray. The zeroth law of science. The world feels no compunction to behave consistently or strictly follow law. Our science, in the end, is based on raw induction. Therefore, if we wish to save the scientific method, which has been the basis for the modern world we know, we must ignore anomalies, forego the magic realm of leprechauns and jinn. Our ancestors could thrive because they knew that miracles were sourced from realms above. Today, such faith has all but disappeared. We've thrown away the sacred with the weird. As long as science dictates what is true, we starve our souls of reverence and love. Living in the miracle. The truth is that life is a miracle. Suppose I could feel that each day. I'd wake up each morning in ecstasy, spontaneously dancing to pray. The taste of an orange transports me, and feeling the touch of your hand would trigger a spasm orgasmic. No sensation can ever be bland. When gossipers speak of my madness, and constables lock me away, I'll swoon for the love of my jailers, delighted, euphoric, and gay. How much of our temperament is public? Is depression a social disease? Can I ever sustain optimism with the mass of mankind on its knees? I can dream what it's like to be human when all people I meet exude joy. So I work toward a wide liberation. In the meantime, I must remain coy. Lost knowledge, atrophied senses. In normal life, experience overwhelms our native intimacy with the all. The true significance of Adam's fall is we've lost touch with otherworldly realms. The psychic clears her mind and waits. Impressions flood her mental world. From whence come they? Our science finds it difficult to say. But there can be no doubt their message freshens and amends the thought and actions that, collectively, comprise our human fate. Though source of cosmic guidance be obscure, it yet commands obedience. We're at a crossroad, and the urgency is great. We need that still small voice, though we're unsure. For Halloween. Charades that we enact this time of year have psychic roots, desire for purgation. The monsters are entirely our creation, our unacknowledged aim, freedom from fear. This one night we indulge our superstitions. Around us are the demons we fear most, not in the guise of goblin, sprite, or ghost, real dangers in the form of politicians. Their secret weapon of manipulation, in truth not really secret, it is fear. When we're afraid, our thoughts cannot be clear. Release of fear will be our liberation. Tonight, get all the fear from out your system. Mandates, censorship, lockdowns, resist them. After Max Leaf. A thousand things that I would like to say. I'd tell you ancient secrets if I knew them. I regret my memory holds but few. Their whispers carry truth from far away. Arcane, faint metaphors can but convey an echo of their power. A cryptic clue I can't decode, alas. But maybe you will bear your candle to this dark one day. Your ship will wreck, your heart will dash on stone, your pride will persevere, so that alone you spill your blood in fertile streams of care, and every claim to vanity forswear. Then our Creator's thoughts will be your own, for you, for all humankind to share. Paradox. The last impediment that we all face who seek our freedom from illusion's wheel, the obstacle to knowing what is real that separates us from celestial grace, we must let go of all desires, release the will to freedom that erstwhile has lit our path and guided us, yet even it must go before our earthly ties can cease. But carnal passions also hold attractions. This human life's the one for which we're made, and progress can be stalled if we're too heady. Frustration is no fun, but Satisfaction's charms as well at last begin to fade. We'll let it all go when we're good and ready. Dayenu. Dayenu is the word the Hebrews use. Sufficient doesn't cut the mustard quite. You feel that all creation is set right as if you just this moment got the news. Although the concept's not unique to Jews, not nirvana nor redemption, salam might be closer at the risk of feeling trite. This feeling comes in many different hues. Feeling gratitude has some relation. Enlightenment might implicate elation. The very thought of having seems too gross. At one with all there is, may be quite close. At risk of feeling pride before a fall, a resonant alignment with the all. God's will is ours. Non nobis, may thy will alone hold sway. Our holy mission in this life is to discern our duty, study and construe the acts we are to perform each day. But what of our innate divinity? We too are capable of holy vision. Suppose we find our needs are in collision. Is there not room for us in God's infinity? You need not look to God to tell you how to live this one life that you call your own. No use to be preoccupied with whether your will aligns with universal Tao. With harsh or gentle lessons you'll be shown. The face of God is all of us together. Co-option of co-created reality. Together we have dreamed this world into existence with its varied tapestry, soft woven from mankind's diversity, with everyone's uniqueness shining through. But agents who would tell you what to think are curbing our innate creative powers. Their selfish vision substitutes for ours. Enslaved, we've led our species to the brink of global ecological collapse. Take back our liberty. It's not too late to rescue one another from this lapse of consciousness. Together celebrate the breadth of our humanity. Create the boundless wonders that are our shared fate. Trust the universe. Seeking enlightenment, there's only one commandment that is all you'll ever need. Misspoke. It's not a rule that you must heed. It's not a chore that you have left undone. No, it's an attitude that you can grow, a habit to develop day by day, perhaps a prayer or mantra you can say, repeated, practiced till you deeply know, to trust in the universe, come what may. We know not who, but how this world is run, for you, for friends and foes, for everyone. Trust joy and challenges that come your way. Above all, trust yourself, your intuitions. Trust that you'll always make the right decisions. Reflections on personhood and the afterlife. The answer that I most would like to know is, what becomes of individual me? I've forgotten how it is I came to be, and so I cannot guess where I will go. Two possibilities I entertain. Myself may persevere and incarnate on earth once more, or else my separate self reverts as single nerve in cosmic brain. You ask, which is my hope? I must confess that I'm invested in my personhood. I fear the loss of personality, experience, memory, skills I've learned, and yes, I want to keep this brain more than I should. My clearer self is patient. Wait and see.